Hey there. So Kwame here with a quick tutorial. Someone asked on a Squarespace help book, group. They're looking to choose from two fonts for paragraphs. So, for example, if there are three paragraphs on a page, they'd like two in one font and a third in a different font. So yeah, I'm just going to show you a quick and easy way of how I would do it. So I've got a demo side up here. You're going to have to forgive. There's a few little bits and pieces from other bits of custom code, but let me see if I can find a page with multiple paragraphs. Now I'm assuming that you're doing this multiple paragraphs within the same block. So I'm going to use a privacy policy template. That's probably a good one. Perfect. So a few approaches to this, and I'm going to run through, I'll run through a couple of them. So the first one, all of these require CSS, but you can do them on any plan. The first one I'm going to go in and edit the page. Bear with me a second. So if it's all in one text block, you can do a few things. You can obviously use your settings here and change the different paragraph size. But I'm going to assume that you want them all to be P1, P2, whatever. So first one is to use, some form of text styling. So this can work quite well. There are some implications in that, if I use bold or italic, as we've done in previous tutorials, it does, use the semantic strong or emphasis tags. It's really not the end of the world, but there are other ways around it. So I'm going to show you both. So here, three paragraphs. I want this middle paragraph to be the different font size one. Easiest way, I would say, literally change the color here. I would pick a custom color that you're definitely not going to use. So in this case, red, and save. Now I'm going to exit and I'm going to go to my custom CSS while it loads. And here's the deal. So if I right click, I'm afraid you can't see my mouse, but I'll let you see the highlights flicker on the screen. So we have one paragraph there. You see it just has a P tag. This one also just has a P. And this one, you can see it has a bit of an ID on it. Now, if I open up that P tag and I open up the one above, it's just got the text. So there's the paragraph tag and the text. Because I've added the red color, we have the paragraph, and then we also have this span sqrt text color custom blah 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 blah. So that's what we need. That's what allows us to do the funkiness. So first thing I'm going to do, I want to link this only to this specific block. So I'm going to target this block. I'm using Will Meyer's Chrome extension, the block identifier, and I can link that in the description. I'm going to paste that into my custom CSS and open up some curly brackets. So I'm saying target this block. And here's what I want to do. I want to say within this block, then I'm going to put the P, so the paragraph within this block. And then I'm going to do a period to select, and I'm going to type in the selector. And I'm going to pull this from my inspect window. The selector, though, is going to be SQSRTE, so Squarespace Rich Text Editor. I think that's what it stands for anyway. Text color custom. So it's saying any elements within that block, within the paragraphs within that block that have the custom text color on them, that's what we're going to do this for. So if I say, for example, display none, it disappears. If I say color blue, now watch, nothing's going to happen. And that's because the color is set in line. So to change the color, I would have to do important. And this is necessary because what I'm going to do, I don't want it to be blue. I want it to inherit the color. So I want it to be the same color as the other paragraphs. So now we've undone the color change. That color change was literally just to allow us to apply code to this specific block of text. So this is always going to be kind of the first step. This is the reset, so to speak. Now I want to change the font, and that's really easy. I would do font family, and then let's say Arial, or let's say Comic Sans. Oh, we don't have Comic Sans. Let's see what what our options are. Bear with me for a second. Ooh, yes, I have a custom font installed on this site. So let's do Adonis Sans, I think is the one I have. Is that what it's called? Oh, sorry, Adonis Web. There you go. Or what other fonts do I have installed? I have Clarkson. There you go. That's Clarkson. So I'm going to just use that. Or emoji. No, emoji is no good. So I put in the name of my font, Clarkson, and then boom, we've got a different custom font. This is really useful if you wanted to, highlight it. You could do other things. You could say padding 1 rem, and then you could say background sage green. Is that a color that's already a thing? Maybe it's not. I'll just make up a color. Let's do RGBA 100, 100, 100, 1. Ooh, that is not a pleasant color. Let's do something more like this. So you can add a background color to it or something like that. Now, I was just showing that for illustrative purposes, but obviously because I am using the transparency, it's giving us this funky effect. But the point is just to show you that you can mess around with your text. You can control it in more different ways just by using this trick. You change the color and then you target that color's text. Now, if, for example, this works great, but maybe let's go and edit. So here there's only 3 paragraphs, right? But if I copy this and then I paste it at the bottom, let's get rid of this. Actually, no, let's keep this. Let's show you a few different things. So I'm also going to change this to that same red color. And this text here that is red, I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to pick, this bright green. I'll save that. I'm going to exit. Let's see what happens. So right now, both of those bits of text have been changed the same way, and this privacy policy hasn't. So that's happening because I've said any text with a custom color. But maybe I want to do something different. Maybe I want it to be that this first block of text is one font, and this second block of color text is a different font. And then I also want it to maybe apply up here. So instead of targeting it by the class, what I'm going to do, sorry that you can't see my inspect window. Let's delete all of this. But when I inspect this font here, I can see right at the top in the styles that it has an inline style. It has this, so this color. So what I can do is I can put in that in square brackets, and I can say within this block, anything with this color, let's what's something that's going to make it really easy to see. Let's just give it a drop. Sorry, let's give it a box shadow, 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, RGBA 0. I'm just making this up. This is just going to be for illustrative purposes. That should work. Did I mess it up? Maybe I put 1 too many in or something like that. Oh, sorry, it should be RGB. Okay, in that case, there you go. You know what, that's close enough. I just want something ugly to make it visible. You can see that this is only targeting that first block of text. And that's super. So I can say, what was the code I wanted? I wanted the color inherit, and I've got to have that exclamation mark important as my reset. And then I also want to do font family Clarkson, I think was the custom font I'd chosen for that. So that one worked. And then this one down here, I do the same thing. I inspect it. I look within the paragraph element and I find the span and I copy the style code. So I'm going to paste that there for a second so that I can just duplicate this here. Grab this style code, make sure it has style equals, replace the content of that curly bracket, and what's a different font we want? Let me pick something that's going to stand out really obviously. What's this one here? This is called Fantasy. Super. Let's go with this. Fantasy. And oh, I need to remove these quotation marks. There we go. So different fonts. Super. And I can simplify this, right? Rather than having a repeat on this color inherit thing, I can grab that selector like we did before. Grab the block ID here. So block ID space period in the SQS RTE thing. I can grab this color inherit and put it within that, and then I don't need to put it twice. So all this is saying is anything within that block with the custom color, reset it to the original color. And then here, let's just tidy this up. Anything that's that red color, make it Clarkson. Anything that's that green color, make it this fantasy font. And the reason why it's not applied to this is because if I just pull up on that heading, I'll just paste here. As you can see, the color here is ever so slightly different to the red. And I wanted to flag that because that's something to pick up on. If you are using the color picker like I did, just make a note that obviously the colors may come out slightly different to one another. And you do need to check that with your inspect tool. So there you go. If you have custom fonts, so maybe you've used like a font face rule or whatever to install a custom font on your website, you can use this to, be selective with your font. You can do all sorts of things. Maybe instead of changing the font family, I want to do text transform uppercase. There. Maybe on this one, I want to do font size 2 rem and line height 1.8. So it does bigger font and larger lines, or maybe let's just get rid of that font size for the second. But there you go. All sorts of options. It just gives you greater flexibility. I'm scoping it by the block ID because that tends to be the use case, but you could do something where if you wanted it site-wide, again, you'd go in and edit. Let's use this little TX to clear all the formatting. I want to pick a color. Maybe I pick a specific color ID for all the text in my site. I pick something that isn't within the rest of my site palette. So that was kind of why I went for this red. Let's pick a random number, 808080. What does that look like? How do I get it higher up here? Let's have a look. There you go, 03FFF. Something like that. That works really well. Let's save that and exit it. So I know 03FFF, I'll paste it there, is the color that I want to use site-wide. That means when I inspect, and I come in here, it'll give me this as the selector. And that's a lot easier to work with. I find text codes are preferable for most people than RGB colors. And you can see here, I'm not using the block ID, right? So let's copy this selector again, save this, edit. Let's make a new block ID, a new block somewhere here. I don't know, let's put it on the side. Text. Here is some new text. Select it, custom color, paste that custom color. Don't forget my hash. There we go. Save, exit. Give it a second there. So here, inspect, make sure it's got the make sure it's got the selector, and you can see there it's got this same font, it's got this Clarkson font, but because this selector here that's saying anything using a custom color within the block is applied, it doesn't change the font color as well. If I get rid of that block selector, now it applies it to both. I hope this theory was useful for you, and yeah, happy editing. I hope it helps you make better sites. Feel free to drop a comment, or if you have any requests for other tutorials, ideas, if you need anything explained, I'll put some of this code in the description. And as always, feel free to support, like, subscribe, etc. Or if you want to buy me a coffee, there's a link in the description for that. I hope this is helpful.